Okay, hi guys, and welcome to today's show. Today, an absolutely chock-a-block full episode. In a moment, we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 suggestions for gifts for the holidays. But actually, having said that, it doesn't have to be just about the holidays. It works all year round, birthdays, all the rest of it. Also, we're going to be taking a look at one of the most expensive, but certainly the most complicated Rolex luxury watch, and that is, of course, the SkyDweller. But before we get into all of that, I've got to do wristwatch check, and this is my little Timex, my 1963 Timex, made in Great Britain. And ironically, I'm wearing this on the same day I'm reviewing one of the most expensive watches I've had on the channel. But this just demonstrates why I love this hobby and passion so much. It's because I can spend $30 and I can get a watch as classy and as cool and made in Great Britain like this. You don't have to spend that much money to enjoy this passion, and that's what it's all about. So, wristwatch check done. Let's roll the intro and get on with today's episode. Get into my top 10 affordable gift suggestions, I just want to add two that I've previously featured in other videos, but I thought it would be meant to mention these again because if you're a serious horology fan, you cannot do without the classic book by Dava Sabel, Longitude, or if you're not into reading, you can buy the DVD, and this stars Jeremy Iron and, of course, Michael Gambon, two incredible British actors. This is the hugely important story of Harrison and how he invented the marine chronometer, one of the most important moments in horological history. And it's something, if you're a true watch fan, you will find fascinating because it's something that has shaped our modern world and an integral part of horological history. Anyway, so let's change perspectives and have a closer look at my top 10 gift suggestions. Now, we'll start a little bit like this object itself at the beginning of horological history. Now, guys, if you're familiar with the video I did on the history of horology, you will undoubtedly know the significance of the obelisk. Now, this is a beautiful, solid lapis lazuli obelisk. This costs about $20. I got it on eBay. Now, all the links will be in the description below. The obelisk is one of the earliest time-telling devices. It would cast a shadow in the ground, and that would be a very rudimentary but early way of telling the time. So it's fairly significant. I chose lapis lazuli. First of all, as you can see, it has this beautiful, rich blue color to it with all these beautiful kind of grays and it's just luscious. Now, lapis lazuli itself was also used heavily by the ancient Egyptians. A stone associated with royalty, with honor. It's supposed to bring power and spirit and vision, and it's kind of the universal symbol of wisdom and strength. So just a beautiful thing to have on your desk, an objet d'art just to enrich your bookshelf or your desk or something like that. So we'll put that there. Now, if you're not into obelisk, another beautiful object or objet d'art to decorate your desk or your bookshelf with. Now, this is an 8-point Merkaba, also an ancient symbol rooted in very early Judaic and Christian mysticism. There's references to it in the Bible, but beyond that, I got it just because I adore it. I went for bloodstone. Bloodstone is one of my favorite stones, and if we look really close, you can just see the little specks of red in that rich British racing green. Now, bloodstone is a healing stone. It centers the chakras. It helps to overcome stress, this kind of thing. And I like this particular object, also $20. It's a nice size, just a beautiful thing to have on your desk. You can use it as a paperweight or just an objet d'art to decorate your shelf. Just stunning, really beautiful. And again, the links will be down in the description. So let's just put that there. Actually, let's move those there a bit. Okay, next we have some new straps from Wrist Candy Watch Club, and here you see my beautiful Navi timer, and they are indeed canvas straps, and I believe they just came out with these. They come in a variety of colors. I really love this sandy khaki color to just play off that luscious blue of the Navi timer. Very military, and I think it kind of matches this aviation watch perfectly. As you can see, it's nice and thick, also wears incredibly comfortably. There's a kind of a light olive green. They come in 22mm sizes and in 20, and the price is a measly 12 bucks. Absolute bargain. They're very rugged, and they come with a little signed Wrist Candy Watch Club. I think the color choices and the quality for 12 bucks, you really cannot beat them. Something a little bit kind of sporty almost. Works very well with field watches, aviation watches, even divers to a certain extent, but I think aviation and field watches in particular. Now next we have two little objects. Actually, I bought one for me and one for my wife, and these are Memento mori key rings. This particular one is in tiger eye, and the one for the wife, of course, is in rose quartz, and they come in these lovely little boxes, so you don't really even have to wrap them, which is nice. Beautifully carved skulls, classic Memento mori. Now, I got Tiger Eye for me because I love Tiger Eye. Tiger Eye is just gorgeous. It really has this rich play on colors. And Tiger Eye itself brings strength. It's a grounding stone and just a wonderful little thing to have on your keys. For the wife, I went for rose quartz, which has a very kind of light pink. It's a feminine stone, as the color suggests, and brings compassion, tenderness, and peace. A lovely little gift. And these are very inexpensive. They're $5 each. Nice little kind of stocking filler type gifts. Just put those there. And next we have another very inexpensive gift. These are crystal protectors. I bought two. This is for my little Bulova Actron at 34mm. And all they are, if you can see, plastic stickers that you stick over the glass to protect plastic crystals you may have. And I bought one as well for the Tudor, which, as you know, has just got repaired, so I want to protect it. They are very inexpensive, but a good way to protect your non-sapphire crystals. They are $5 each. You get two stickers for $5. This is a specialist seller on eBay, so really great gift. I'll put these over here. And next we have an absolute essential. This is a Bergeon Swiss-made spring bar tool, and as you can see, it has a tool on each end, and on the back you can see it has an extra fine pin. This is great for drilled lug holes, and this particular one is a little very fine fork. This is a little bit expensive at $20, but it's worth it because the quality and construction of this is very, very solid. And this brand is basically what pretty much most watchmakers use this brand for all their tools. They're kind of the industry standard. These are fantastically made, really, really solid, and I cannot recommend them enough. And yes, it's a little bit more expensive at $20, but in the end, you will probably save money because this will last you. So let's put that there. Okay, next is a 5-piece precision screwdriver set. This is a jeweler's set. And these are not just ordinary screwdrivers. These, if I show you, they come in this lovely little wooden box. And as you can see inside, it comes with different attachments. Pull one of these out to show you. Let's just put that down there. These are extra small, extra fine, and they have the rotating ends. That sits in your hand like that, and you can just rotate it like that. Fantastic to use, especially if you have links that have tiny little screws in them, like some of the Tudors. These are fantastic. Very, very inexpensive at $12. So let's put that over there. Okay, next we have an old favorite. You guys know I have a fondness for Colareb. They are a family business from Rome, as you can see in their new logo there. And they make some of the most beautiful handmade luxury Italian leather straps. This is their website. You can order direct from them. The prices are in euros, but you can also order from Holben's within the United States. But I gotta say, ordering direct from them is just as quick and just as reliable. I love them. I think the quality of these are amazing. Each one is slightly different because they're all handmade. They all have a character of their own. Sign the buckle there with their new R logo. This particular one is the Venezia. A beautiful distressed look. But my two of choice has got to be one of the newer bands. This is the Ostrich Strap, 100% leather. This particular one is an 18mm to fit my little Bulova Accutron, and as you can see, I haven't even worn it yet, but the quality is there. Just look at that. Look at the stitching. This is 41 euros, which is extremely reasonable. You know, luxury handmade Italian straps like these go for, I mean, I've seen, I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen various companies sell them for twice as much, 3 times as much. This is a family you're supporting here. You know, they take immense pride in their work. You can contact them. They're a pleasure to deal with, and we've become good friends. You know, I really respect them. Anyway, so the Ostrich comes in grey, there's blue, there's black as well, and as you can see here, this is the stunning white. I think it really kind of nicely plays off the white hands and the indices on the crystal there, and it also tapers beautifully. Its total length, I would say, is about 19mm. And my second choice is the Sienna dark brown, which I've put on my Tudor day date here. If you just look back at the Venezia that was all distressed, this one has a really nice soft smooth texture, as you can see on the back. Vera pelle, real leather, made in Italy, and just look at the quality of the stitching. And I love the fact it's really nice and thick, so it just sits in your wrist, but it's so soft. It's like chocolate. I mean, look at that color. This is the dark brown version in 20mm. Stunning. This is slightly more expensive, obviously, because you're getting a lot more leather material for your money. Each one is completely unique. Luxury standard. There's a real high quality product. This time we have a brushed buckle, also tapers. This is slightly shorter at 18mm, but has a thickness of 3.2mm. Very substantial and outstanding. So that's definitely another fantastic option from Colareb. These also come in a variety of colors. I forget which, but check out the website, colareb.it, and they have an online shop. Very fast, very professional, and you know, have any questions, reach out to them. They're wonderful people to deal with. I absolutely love them. So big shout out to Colareb, my good friends there. So another strap option, and this has been a real winner with me, are these genuine Crocodile straps from SwissTech. Now, I've bought several of them before, all genuine Crocodile, but today I went for a slightly different one. This is an extra padded, thick version, padded in the middle to about just under 3mm thick, and then slightly thinner towards the side where the stitching is. And I went for a burgundy, something to kind of play with the traditional look of the Tissot Gennaro here. These are also handmade in Italy, beautifully constructed. The quality is amazing. These are quite expensive. We're looking about $60, but when you think about it, genuine Crocodile, these things can go into the hundreds, so really is a bargain. I forget the store's name, but I'll leave a link in the description. These actually is a seller in the United States. So SwissTech, definitely. Beautiful straps. Just look at the sheen on them, just stunning, the texture, and they have a softer leather underneath that is just so smooth. So you know, the part that's in contact with your skin is just really nice and comfortable. Stunning. Also, they also taper nicely. The length of this is about 18mm and will fit most wrists. So I'm going to put that there. Okay, last but by no means least, I had to get a NATO strap. I mean, it just wouldn't be a TGV Urban Gentry video without a NATO strap. So today, something a little bit different. This is from a company called, and they have signed the buckle, it's a company called HNS, and this is the Zulu Path printed grey Prince of Wales pattern, nylon MOD NATO strap. So it's basically just a standard NATO strap, but in this fantastic Prince of Wales pattern, which is one of my favorite patterns of fabrics, of suits. And I've matched it with the Hemel, because the Hemel has a little red second hand. And as you can see in this particular, I mean, there are various styles of Prince of Wales pattern, but this particular one has red lines running through it. So I thought it's just a nice subtle way to match it. These are 18 bucks and you can get them on Amazon and on eBay. I've featured this company before. They also have some really crazy patterns. Have a look at their store. Amazing NATO straps. Really inspired designs. A little bit more expensive, but unique. It's also beautifully stitched, very well made, a really cool printed pattern. So that's definitely got to be in there. So where should we put that? Let's put that there. Anyway guys, let's take it back to the studio. So now let's move on to the Rolex SkyDweller. Now of course this was released at Baselworld in 2012 and it was highly anticipated. Many predicted it would be a kind of replacement to the GMT, some kind of luxury GMT sports watch. It was, however, something completely different. It's more of a dressy, true luxury piece rather than a sports watch. One thing I must add before we get into the review, I kept referring to that rotating bezel as the command bezel. It's actually called the command ring. However, I do think command bezel, I think that's a better name. But anyway, I just thought I'd add that, so a little correction to my review. And of course, before we get into this review, I've got to thank a very special friend of ours. I'm not sure if he wants me to say his name, so he probably wants to stay anonymous. But un grande amico mio very kindly and graciously lent this watch in for review. So grazie mille, my friend there. You know who you are, and I hope to see you very soon at the next Urban Gentry get together, which should be happening before Christmas. Anyway, so without further ado, let's change perspectives again and have a closer look at this incredible luxury timepiece. Today we are reviewing something very special indeed. Now we've covered entry-level Rolexes, we've covered their kind of mid-range, and now something from the very highest echelons of the Rolex range, and this of course is the Rolex SkyDweller. This is the reference 326938. This comes in solid yellow gold. Actually, it comes in a variety of precious metals, but this is the yellow gold version with this beautiful sunburst silver dial. There's also a rose gold version, a white gold version, and they also have their own variations of dial. My particular favorite is the chocolate. I'll be sure to put a picture in the chocolate dial. I think that comes on the rose gold version. Very stunning indeed. Apart from the difference in dial color, there are two versions of dial. One with Arabic numerals and one with Romans, as you see here, and beautiful yellow gold applied Roman numerals, just contrasting on that silver sunburst. Absolutely gorgeous. So what makes this Rolex very unique is this is actually Rolex's most complicated watch. This is an annual calendar. The name SkyDweller obviously refers to its dual time zone, which is indicated by this slightly off-centered it's not really a subdial, it's like a sliding disc there. And we have a little red arrow at the top indicating the current time. And of course we have the traditional date with the Cyclops, sapphire glass of course, and then if you see around the edge of the dial we have these cutout sections, and this is the month. So at the moment 12 corresponding to the 12th month, so it's December. So very easy to read and quite clear and quite an innovative, cool way of doing things. I really like it. It's quite refreshing, and Rolex released this in 2012 with the exception, I think, of the Platinum Day date. This is probably the most expensive Rolex. Of course you can get Rolexes with a boatload of diamonds and precious stones, but pretty much this is second from the top in terms of cost, but it is the most complicated movement in the Rolex range, and this is the very new movement. This is the Rolex 9001. This was also came out in 2012. It operates at 28,800 vibrations an hour. It's a 40 jewel movement. It has 380 components. And probably the best feature of all is that it has a staggering 72-hour power reserve. And not only that, you get all the latest technology from Rolex, the Parachrome hairspring, you get the Paraflex shock absorbers. The winding is bidirectional. It's obviously an automatic with the perpetual rotor. In terms of accuracy, well, it's COSC certified, plus or minus 2 seconds, so accuracy wise you have nothing to worry about. What's quite funny about this this high-end Rolex movement, it still retains that very kind of tool aesthetic. It's not a pretty thing to look at, even though it's impressive in terms of its specifications. It still has that robust look to it. It's has a fair amount of decoration, but it's by no means haute horology in terms of its decoration. So let's get a quick dimensions out of the way, and I must state for my friend who very kindly has lent this in that I have got sellotape on the calipers, because obviously this being in a precious metal, it's a little bit easier to scratch, so I'm going to be very, very careful. And it's 42 millimeters in diameter, almost 15 millimeters, 14.7 millimeters tall. Lug to lug, we're looking at 49 millimeters, and the lug width, quite interestingly, is still 20. So this is actually the largest Rolex I've ever personally seen in the flesh. The case is the Oyster case, of course, so we've still got that 100 meters water resistance. The screw down crown has the twin lock waterproof system, and then if we look on the back, still got the sticker on it, of course, because this is a brand new piece. What's interesting, we haven't had a solid gold Rolex on the show before, but you can see the hallmarks indicating 750 for 18 karat gold. Beautifully contrasted oyster bracelet there with a high polish and then brushed flanking links there. Then we have the oyster clasp, which is pretty much exactly the same as you'd see on a Datejust. Obviously this is in yellow gold, so you just put your thumbnail or your nail under there and it just lifts up effortlessly. And this, of course, is Rolex's own gold. That they even have their own foundry. In fact, I did a video all about discussing their unique approach to manufacture. That little Easy Link extension that we talked about in numerous videos, so you can easily extend it on the fly. And I must say, in gold, it doesn't have the same sound to it when you click. It's a little bit more duller. Although the weight is completely different. Talking of weight, let's get in the scales, because we've got to weigh this thing. It's really quite staggering, the solid feel of it. It's a big chunk of gold, definitely. Okay, forgive the rather tatty looking scales there. Let's just make sure it's reset to 0. All right, let's pop it on the scales. Wow, 240, oh no, 240, almost 246, but 245 grams there. Wow, that's a big chunk of gold. Quite impressive. So performance-wise, this is where it really gets interesting. Rolex have done something very, very new here. You'll notice immediately the fluted bezel that is just so indicative of a lot of the Datejusts and, you know, the day dates. But this one actually does something, and it's a totally unique way of doing it, and I'm quite impressed with what Rolex have done here. So you unscrew the crown, the screw down crown, of course, like normal. However, instead of pulling it out to several positions, the position is dictated by what they call the command bezel. So there are 3 positions: first position, second position, and then third position. So depending on what position you put it in, dictates control of a different, either the date here, which like you see here, let's say it's the 10th. Instead of clicking that to another position, you turn this, and then you can change the time here. It's a really neat way of doing things. I haven't ever seen this before. I think this is pretty much unique to the SkyDweller. And then if we turn it again, you'll see that the second time zone is now moving. So really, really neat. Of course, it's hackable. I mean, I don't really have to say that.
We do have manual wind, everything you'd come to expect. Notice that the month has changed as well. I think I did that by accident. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's a very unique way of doing things, quite refreshing. And actually, after you get your head around it, it's easy. It's a really cool way of controlling and setting an annual calendar. So then we just pop in the crown, let's say that's the time, and off it goes. We have that beautiful applied Rolex logo. And then look at the way they've skeletonized or semi-skeletonized the hands, so you can still see through it and read that second time zone. Very, very subtle, but a nice touch. Of course, we have the Rolex Rehort running around the inside there. So the case itself, as you can see, completely yellow gold. We have that contrasting high polish and that brushed finishing that we see in all Rolexes. That's done so well. The quality is certainly there. And actually, let's quickly get a wrist shot. Now, of course, this is going to be far too big for me, but at least I can say I've worn a SkyDweller. So there we go. There's a wrist shot. Absolutely massive. I almost contemplating on stopping my exercise routine, eating voraciously, just so I can put enough weight on to wear a piece like this. It is definitely something different, definitely something unique, without a doubt luxurious, dazzling. Personally, I wouldn't wear it on the bracelet. They do come on a beautiful crocodile straps, I believe. I maybe might consider one of those had they made it a little bit smaller. What's nice is that it's a practical complication. It's very useful, and then you can just quickly, with that command bezel, change the time zone when you're flying about, because let's be honest, if you've got one of these on, you're most likely going to be flying about to exotic locations. It's an interesting mix of all of Rolex's legacy of making incredible tool watches into something that, you know, the fluted bezel definitely brings a dressy element. The precious metals certainly does as well. It's a very interesting watch, and I must say I really like it. Not my style personally because it's too big, but I can definitely see the attraction. It's a ravishing watch to look at. Okay guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Let's take it back to the studio.
Okay guys, before I love you and leave you, I just want to summarize the watch and share with you some of the key positives and negatives. Now, first of all, there's no denying that it's Rolex's first annual calendar. Thanks to that new Saros system in the movement, it's an important piece. And I think that bezel, that the command ring or command bezel, whatever it certainly is an innovation. It's certainly a step forward. And something completely new, and that has got to be respected. Also, it's incredibly robust. While the movement is not anything horology, it does have that Rolex robustness, which is something many annual calendars don't have. So it's nice to see that as well. Also, it's that unique kind of paradoxical Rolex mixture of something that is very, very dressy, but at the same time that utilitarian movement. Only Rolex could do this, right? Very, very specific to Rolex. And it's certainly something unique. I mean, there's no denying this is a very unique timepiece. Okay, the negatives. Well, you guys know what I'm gonna say. It's too big. If you've got the frame, if you got the wrists for it, I envy you. I secretly hate you, in fact. But honestly, for me, I would have loved to see it in a 40mm size. I think it does lose a little bit of refinement and a little bit of, I don't want to say class. By being bigger, it's a bit, also because it's yellow gold, of course, it's a bit brash, you know. I would prefer, I would love to see a steel version, an understated steel version in 40mm. I would actually seriously consider it myself. But this is very subjective because I have got smaller wrists. However, if you got the frame, if you got the scale to pull it off, it's relative to you. More power to you. I mean, you know, I envy you. I only wish I could. Another slight criticism is, of course, the bracelet. Being 20mm at the lug width, it's a bit like the James Cameron SkyDweller. It's very top heavy. I feel that if you're going to go with a big case like that, I feel that they could have actually gone with a 22mm lug width. Very minor thing, but I can see it being top heavy, certainly on the bracelet. And the last point, you know, being around the 40 grand mark, is it worth it? I mean, this is an argument for a whole other video on its own. For 40 grand, I would have loved to see a little bit more decoration on the movement. I would have loved to see a little bit more, maybe a thinner case. Large size of it does, I hate to say it, cheapen it a little bit. Horologically, yes, it's important, but I expect at that price range, I mean, if you look at what else is available in the market, even from horology offerings, I would have loved to see a more refined, decorated movement. Honestly, very minor negatives. It is an incredible watch. Certainly a step forward for Rolex. The new way of doing things with that bezel. Very exciting, different, unique, and it'll be interesting to see if other watch brands pick up on this. As we've seen so many times with Rolex, they tend to do things way ahead, and it takes a while for the industry to catch up. So it'll be interesting to see if this changes anything. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please don't forget to add your thoughts, queries, questions, opinions, all the rest of it down in the comments below. I love hearing your feedback. Also, gift suggestions, anything horologically relevant or related you think viewers of the show would appreciate, please do share those down in the comments as well. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always guys, I will catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.